So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and tonight we're joined by Jon Reider. He's the vocalist and guitarist for the band Ascended Dead, and they just released an album on May 12th. And we're here all to talk about that album and other future plans. The album is called Eventful of the Apocalypse. So, first of all, Jon, how are you today?
I'm good. I'm just getting my vehicle ready for tour. We're gonna tour the West Coast next week.
Yes, I saw the thank you. Now that you're talking about the tour, I have the flyer here for the tour. So this is gonna be the tour that you're gonna do. It's gonna be a West Coast tour with some other bands. So what can you tell us about this upcoming tour?
Well, it's gonna cover pretty much all the main cities in the West Coast. We're gonna be joined by Coscradh from Ireland. They're gonna come over for support, and yeah, we're gonna play those dates. We're gonna drive down and start in Arizona and just make our way back up north.
It makes sense that you would start in Arizona. So yeah, so what's it like for you guys? Your experience touring in tour buses? Are you the some of the I know there's people that like it, other people's like kind of hated it. What's your thoughts on that type of touring?
Well, we've never had like a giant bus, at least not up to this point. We've never been that big, I guess. We've just been like, I think the most we've done is like Sprinter van type stuff. We used to have our own van, sold it a while ago, just because it logistically didn't make any sense anymore. But, we mostly just been doing Sprinter van type stuff. We've had a driver for some
Right.
of them. A lot of them we've done our own driving. For this upcoming one, we're going to be doing our own driving pretty much. I'm just gonna pack all the guys in my forerunner, and we're gonna take a trailer and head on out. Um, I mean, as long as the drives aren't too long, which on this thing they aren't that long, you know, it's not that bad. I mean, it's only
Yeah,
like a week. It's only like a week long too, so it's not. I mean, it's if you want to play shows and
yeah,
do
you
what
gotta do it.
bands do, that's kind of what you do.
Plus, it's the album release tour, so people can get the album on this tour. And yeah, I see that you're hitting mostly like three places in California. You're doing Oregon, and you're going to Seattle and Vancouver. So yeah, it sounds like it should be a kick-ass tour for you. And I like the flyer. It's pretty old school death metal. So yeah, best of luck on that tour. Have you heard any like crazy tour stories or funny tour stories in the past that happened to you guys?
Oh, for us or for like, oh, I don't know, not really. I mean, oh, damn, I'm gonna have to think about that. Uh, shit. I don't know. I mean, one time we trashed a house pretty bad one time in San Jose. That was pretty funny. We just like, I think like the guys of Witch Haven were there and the guys of Warp Vomit were there and yeah, we just fucking partied till like 5 o'clock in the morning and then took off and just like took a bunch of their like cereal and shit like that. It was pretty fun. But
Yeah. Did they
there was
send
a
you like
time.
a bill afterwards?
No, I don't think they knew it was us. I think it was funny. I think like one of the guys was like trying to jack stuff out of their house, but then we were like, nah, dude, don't do that. Like one thing if it's like, you know, food or just like some $2 fucking box of cereal, but like it
Yeah.
gets fucked. But I mean that wasn't one of my guys. That was one of the other guys in one of the other bands. I won't say who, but there was a time we took the Merciless guys in San Diego. We went to like some dispensary down in the ghetto, and like those guys all just like took a piss in the street. That was pretty funny. Uh, I don't know the rest of it. I don't know. I don't know how appropriate it would be to talk about some of the other tour stories, but you know, those.
This is a channel that it's not for kids. My content is not for kids, so you can say whatever the fuck you want to say.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's hard to think. Yeah, I don't know. There's been a lot, I guess.
Yeah, but you mentioned a few good ones. So So you released the album a week now in 20 bucks ping. So far, how has the reception been to the new material?
So far so good. I haven't really kept up too much on all the, scouring the whole web for reviews and stuff. I've just kind of been checking in just to see what the overall vibe is, and the overall vibe has been pretty good. Um, see people seem to like it, and we are very happy with how it came out. So, it's been very satisfying to see that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna show the artwork for the people who haven't seen the album artwork. So here we have the artwork for Ascended Dead and the latest album. So there's a lot going on in it. Like, what can you tell us about this artwork?
Well, it's based I don't want to reveal too much just because it's a lot of it's kind of personal, I guess, but it's based on a dream that I had. And I saw this in a dream, and I heard the title track Evan Fall of the Apocalypse in that dream. So that this whole, artwork is kind of a manifestation of all of that.
Well, it looks like a very scary fucking dream, but but yeah,
Yeah,
it looks it looks very old school death metal, which is what you guys sound like. And so I read that the artwork was done by Cal Bowen. He did the artwork for this. So when did you give him details about the dream so he could draw it, or how did
I
that
did.
go about?
I did, yeah. I typed a big old essay about the dream, and I've known Bowen for a long time. I've known him since high school, and he's actually the one who got me into Possessed and Venom and Slayer and all the bands that I pretty much worship and have based my entire musical everything off of. So we have a lot of history going way back. So um, and he's been doing all the artwork for Ascended Dead since the early days of the band. So we have, I guess you could say we kind of have like a ironclad kind of situation. But
Yeah, no, I was looking at the artwork and obviously the previous releases that you had, some EPs, some compilation albums that you were a part of. So in the album can be pretty brutal, but you have an instrumental in Passage to Eternity, which has some like acoustic guitars and different things. How was working on that? Because it's a little bit of a breather, and it's very different from the rest of the material on this album. So, what can you tell us about that one in particular?
well, on our first album, we had a similar kind of thing. It was just an acoustic guitar song. On that previous album, the idea was kind of like it was intended to, it was kind of towards the beginning of the record, and it was kind of in a way it was a homage to the band Venom because they had the song Mayhem with Mercy, and I think on that record it was like the third or fourth song on it, which is like kind of weird just because it's fucking Venom, so it's like it's kind of this like real carnal, really heavy, thrashy, heavy metal kind of stuff, real dark, and then there's just this really beautiful but harrowing sounding acoustic track. So that's kind of what it was there on that album. On this one, it was kind of different. It was, we were channeling a lot of different stuff. Like there's like this on the Molested Blood Drum album. There's, if you know, remember, there's like this middle track with like drums, and it's like got this weird noise and stuff. So kind of wanted to channel something like that. Kind of wanted to channel something, acoustic guitar oriented. Some time ago, I was taking some flamenco lessons, and some of those techniques that I learned there manifested in this track. I wouldn't
Yeah, it
call that
sounds.
I wouldn't call this a flamenco uh, track, though. I
No,
wouldn't
it's
call
not
it.
a flamenco track.
No, all the
No.
all the flamenco snobs would fucking murder me if I equated it to that. But um, there was a lot of different things going on there, and I'd say Ian, actually, him and me wrote like about that song about 50-50. And then he did like most of pretty much all of the guitar solos on that except for one of them. I did one of them. But it was it's interesting. There's a lot of different pieces going on, and kind of it serves as an interlude because the tone of the general tone of the record kind of takes a pretty interesting turn from that point. Right after that is the title track and the outro.
Yeah, no, after that, the track that goes after that is very heavy, very brutal, and then you have the outro that finishes the album. So, what can you tell us about some of the themes that you explore on this record?
Ooh, that's tough.
I bet they had to be related some part with the dream that you had.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's mostly the final track for sure. The title track, Evanfall of the Apocalypse, and that was kind of like that was kind of written pretty early in the song in the process of the writing the album. So when we wrote that, it was kind of like, I knew that that had to be at the end, and everything on the record kind of led up to it. But so, I mean, we had written Nexus of the Black Flame and Bestial Vengeance beforehand, before that song. And then, I knew that those were kind of like songs that should have been, side A kind of songs. But that song for sure like needed to I knew that that just had to be at the end just because it's like, it's intended to have a very like, kind of devastating sort of feeling to it, whereas the other tracks are kind of more like aggressive and fiery, I guess. Um, so as far as the themes go, it's like, you know, I don't really want to like reveal too much about all the super specific themes and all the different
Sure.
stuff that went into it, just because a lot of it, I would say for me at least, is kind of like personal, I guess. But it, yeah, it's like the whole album start to finish is kind of it's kind of a big long like arc in a way. The if you notice the intro noise is the same thing as an outro, just played backwards. And there's little hints throughout the album that lead to the final track. It's kind of like you know if anyone's familiar with like Berserk or something, it's like a full like arc, start to finish. And that's kind of what I would say. It has a whole like life, death, and death cycle again.
Okay. And when you're working on the album, how important was it for you the placing of the songs? Did you think a lot about that, about when to place certain songs?
I typically think about that a lot with pretty much every release. All my favorite releases, whether it was Seven Churches or Welcome to Hell or Kill 'Em All or Hello Wait or Morbid Angel Covenant, a lot like, or the Judas Priest album saying Sad Wings of Destiny in the intended order of that record. It's like I think that that's really important to have the songs flow in a certain kind of way that really brings you in and kind of serves a whole kind of narrative structure, I guess. So, and it was like that with pretty much every album that I've like been a part of, whether it was the first Ascended Dead album or the Lost Invocation War record or the first Void Ceremony record or this album. They or the new Disimperium album, which isn't out yet. But it's important to me for the songs to be in a certain order to really just you know take the listener to on a proper you know ride, I guess. Because it's like, I don't know, I've never really been one to just oh yeah, just throw it together, who cares. So yeah.
Yeah, no, and it's important to open strong and finish strong, and yeah, have like a flow to the album, if you will. So the album's already out, so I know I can. There's still are there still pre-orders? Well, it would be ordering now because it's already out, so it's not a pre-order. But I can leave the link for people who want to get the album, and obviously, you're in the West Coast next week, catch them on tour. I put the flyer at the beginning, and I'll put the tour dates on this on the paragraph here on the description, so people who watch that can know when you guys are on tour. So uh So you mentioned, you know, you being influenced by Slayer. You mentioned classic albums, Kill 'Em All. Like, I once did a video here, like of the top 5 albums that I would take to a desert island, if you could take them. Like, if you were stranded on a desert island with only 5 albums, which ones would you pick and what and why?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, number one, Seven Churches. Easy. That's slam dunk. That has to be there. Um, Metallica, Kill 'Em All would probably be on there. Venom, Welcome to Hell would probably be on there. Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny would probably be on there. Um, Let me think. Black Sabbath Volume 4 would probably be on there. So
I think you
other
mentioned
than that,
5.
yeah, that's 5. I mean, I could go on forever. I mean, do demos count? Because I would take Necrobore with me too.
Yeah, you can take demos. That counts, of course. Uh,
Oh,
so
okay. I'll take Slayer Haunting the Chapel and Live Undead.
no, I see
Uh,
you love Slayer. I can see the Slayer poster
oh
back
yeah,
there. Yeah,
yeah. I got all the classics.
all the classics. Yeah, I never got to sadly, I never got to see Slayer live.
That's unfortunate. I mean, I saw them probably 3 times with Jeff Hanneman, and it was really awesome the first time. The second 2 times it was kind of like didn't really need to see it kind of thing. And the last time I saw them, it was a little disappointing because they literally didn't play any old songs at all. And at that point, I was like, whatever. You know, I've I've got my old records. That's all I need. And then Jeff
Yeah,
Hanneman died shortly after that, so that to me was kind of like, okay, that's the end of Slayer for me.
yeah. I never saw them. They were supposed to play in Puerto Rico, but it got canceled because of some logistics and stuff. But so I never got to see them. So people, if you like old school death metal, check out Ascended Dead. The album is already out, so I'll put the link so people can uh, so you can get that album wherever, you know, I'll put the link. And obviously on the 20 Box Ping webpage, you can get it. And if you are on the West Coast, check them out and buy some merch. Are you going to have like some cool merch for that tour?
Yeah, we'll have our legacy logo and shirts where it's the logo on the front and the sigil on the back, and then we'll have some other shirts that are available in of our new album, Evan Fall of the Apocalypse, and we'll have all of our leftover shirts from previous tours with a bunch of other designs of previous releases that'll also be available. But yeah, that's it, everything you should be able to find on, I think, our website and our store NB.
Okay, yeah, I'll post that too. So people, check out Ascended Dead and please
Courtesy of
support.
Pirate Press. All of our merch on the tour is Pirate Press, so you can also hit up their website.
Nice. And obviously, check out Eventful of the Apocalypse, which is out now on 20 Bucks Ping. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield on a Couch, and I'll see you right here on the couch. Thank you and good night.